All right, welcome in everybody to BMC Collectibles Breaks. I'm B. Today we've got one case. Oh nope, I lied. Two cases of 2024 Leaf Heroes and Prospects football to get into. While we get started, feel free to like and subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, BMC.collectibles, and save it as a seller on eBay. That'll make it that much easier back to us for more breaks. And let you know we go live and we go live. Also, need to mention the no purchase necessary for link down in the description. That is 12 boxes. And that is 12 boxes. Alright, we are good to go. Good luck, everybody. No Nico? Oh well. Ugh. Guess that means he won't hit. Start off with a Walker White out of 49. Caleb Jackson out of 99. Ray Davis and Thurman Thomas and Ethan Garbus. Jamari Thrash out of 25. Mike Vick out of 99. Garrett Nussmeier and Joe Burrow. Ashton Jetty. Sam Levitt out of 15. Jackson Arnold out of 199. Drew Pearson and Matthew Sluka. Jermaine Brown Jr. out of 99. Roger Staubach out of 99. Adrian Peterson and Garrett Green. DJ Giddens, 20 out of 25. Peyton Houston out of 199. Drew Pearson and DeMond Williams. Max Brosmer, 1 of 1. Isaiah Nair out of 99. Frank Gore and Max Brosmer. Cole Macy out of 99. Matthew Sluka out of 99. Ozzie Newsome and Malik Rutherford. Rashawn Owens out of 75. Roger Staubach out of 199. Quinshon Judkins and Archie Griffin. John Rice Plumley. No, sir, we are not. Damari Allison out of 99. Roger Staubach out of 99. Earl Campbell and Garrett Nussmeier. Tyron Tracy Jr. out of 15. Jackson Arnold out of 199. Drew Pearson and Nicholas Singleton. Carter Bradley out of 25. Peyton Houston out of 199. Doug Flutie and Jaden Daniels. Jim Everett out 1 of 2. Jackson Arnold out of 199. Peyton Hillis and Max Brosmer. Alex Rendo out of 99. Peyton Houston out of 99. Nico Iamaliva and Peyton Manning and Deuce Knight. G-Mac, new prospective. Really? Prospective? We're going with that one? 3 of 3. Adonai Mitchell out of 199. Marshall Falk and Dylan Gabriel. Sounded so weird when I said it. Andrew Anthony out of 49. Malik Washington out of 199. Drew Brees and Nicholas Singleton. C.J. Donaldson Jr. out of 49. Ollie Gordon out of 199. Jim McMahon and Noah Fafita. Jaden Bradford out of 15. Malik Rutherford out of 199. Carson Beck and Fran Tarkenton and Dylan Gabriel. Rodney Hill out of 15. Fran Tarkenton out of 99. Eddie George and Damian Martinez. Kyle Williams, 1 of 5. Len Dickey, out of 199. Trey Harris and John Rice Plumlee. Siobhan Cordero, out of 75. Roger Staubach, out of 199. Quinshon Judkins and Archie Griffin. Deion Burks. Romello Brinson, out of 49. Marshall Falk, out of 199. Jonathan Brooks and Earl Campbell. Elijah Brown. Dylan Sampson, high marks, 23 out of 25. Drew Pearson, out of 5. Frank Gore and Penny Boone. Jurian Dickey, out of 199. Achilles Smith Jr. out of 199. Warren Sapp and Jaquez Petaway. Christopher Vizina, out of 20. Jeremiah Live, out of 49. Steve Young and Matthew Sluka. And Monty Bailey, out of 75. Peyton Houston, out of 99. Travion Henderson and Eddie George, out of 49. And Walker Howard. Daquan Felton, out of 199. Malik Washington, out of 199. Hines Ward and Nicholas Singleton. Caleb Burton, out of 5. Ollie Gordon, out of 199. Donnie Shell and Noah Fafita. Haj Malik Williams, out of 99. Malik Rutherford, out of 199. Carson Beck and Fran Tarkenton and Ollie Gordon. Or no, Dylan Gabriel. Very different people. Damian Martinez, out of 99. Tony Dorsett, out of 49. Travion Henderson and Eddie George and Xavier Legette. Paul Krause, out of 25. Fran Tarkenton, out of 99. Eddie George and Damian Martinez. Matthew Golden, out of 25. Kieran Lacey, out of 49. Tetaru McMillan and Xavier Legette. Casey Washington, out of 25. Lynn Dickey, out of 199. Steve Atwater and Xavier Thomas. AJ Swan, 1 of 3. Roger Staubach, out of 199. Chevin Purdy and Brock Purdy and Deion Burke. Tyler Cherry, 4 of 5. Max Brosmer, out of 99. Alvin Bethea and Andre Anthony. Demir Blankumsey, out of 99. Demond Williams Jr. out of 199. Joe Namath and Deuce Knight. Cameron Sheldon, out of 49. Jeremiah Liv, out of 49. Steve Young and Matthew Sluka. Alan Bowen, out of 75. Matthew Sluka, out of 99. Ozzie Newsome and Malik Rutherford. Ty Felton, out of 99. Roger Staubach, out of 199. Quinshon Judkins and Archie Griffin and John Rice Plumlee. Bader Bachmeyer out of 75. Marshall Falk out of 199. Earl Campbell and Garrett Nussmeier. Chuba Purdy, 205. Peyton Houston out of 199. Doug Flutie and Jaden Daniels. Dual auto of Terrell Davis and Audric Estime. 3 out of 10. Isaiah Nair and Drew Pearson. Nicholas Dalton. Nair's out of 199. Jack Plummer out of 49. Jackson Arnold out of 199. Peyton Hillis and Max Brosmer. Miles Price out of 25. Michael Irvin out of 49. Tyrone McMillan and Lawrence Arnold. Jared Brown out of 99. Peyton Houston out of 49. Roderick Robinson and Zion Turner. Jared Gibson out of 49. Peyton Houston out of 49. Roderick Robinson and Zion Turner. Jordan Travis out of 49. Peyton Houston out of 49. Roderick Robinson and Amari Thomas. Dan Villari out of 25. Archie Manning out of 199. Blake Corum and Marshall Falk. And Graham Mertz. Madden 9 Maliva out of 20. Roman Wilson out of 199. Laird Little and Keelan Robinson. Cornelius Johnson out of 75. Malik Rutherford out of 99. Audric Estime and Terrell Davis and George Larberdan. Audric Estime and Terrell Davis. Purple auto out of 10. Double up. Petty Boone out of 10. Ty Felton and Malik Benson. Andrew Armstrong out of 49. Malik Rutherford out of 99. Audric Estime and Terrell Davis and George Larberdan. Bear Bachmeyer out of 99. Malik Rutherford out of 99. Audric Estime and Terrell Davis and George Gage Larberdan. Antonio Williams out of 75. Archie Manning out of 199. Blake Corum and Marshall Falk and Graham Mertz. Marcus Carroll out of 49. Keelan Robinson out of 99. Roydell Williams and Nate Frazier. Brady Fowler Nicolosi out of 10. Roderick Robinson out of 199. Eddie George and Nate McCollum. Devin Leary out of 25. Roderick Robinson out of 199. Eddie George and Nate McCollum. Caleb Johnson, 14 to 25. Garrett Nussmeier out of 199. Tyrone McMillan and K-Ron Lynch Adams. Deshaun Fenwick out of 15. Roderick Robinson out of 199. Eddie George and Nate McCollum. Andrew Armstrong out of 75. Warren Sapp out of 199. Dominic Lovett and Hines Ward and Matthew Sluka. Ashton Daniels out of 49. Warren Sapp out of 199. Dominic Lovett and Hines Ward and Matthew Sluka. Well, Cook-Merrick out of 99. Devontae Adams. Ozzie Newsome and Kieran Lacey. Bryce Kurtz out of 49, Devontae Adams, Ozzie Newsome, and Kieran Lacey. Lenore Sellers out of 20, Joe Montana out of 199, Cordell Stewart, and Noah Fafita. Zach Zabrowski out of 75, Barry Sanders and Ollie Gordon, Johnny Manziel, and Karan Lynch Adams. Jalen Lane out of 75, Terry Bradshaw out of 99, Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Aller. Joseph Griffin Jr. out of 99, Terry Bradshaw out of 99, Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Aller. Box number 12, halfway point. I'm going to guess it's in the next round of boxes. This case, I don't think there's Jackson Dart. This case, definitely. Cyrus Allen out of 99, Elijah Badger out of 199, Jim Everett, and Karan Lynch Adams. AJ Swan out of 25, Elijah Badger out of 199, Jim Everett, Karan Lynch Adams. Cam Miller out of 75, Devin Neal out of 49, Tony Baselli, and Caleb Johnson. G.J. Jonathan Jr. out of 49, Devin Neal out of 49, Tony Dorsett, and Caleb Johnson. Jaden Wilson out of 199, Randy White out of 99, Joe Montana, and Karan Lynch Adams. Ryan Puglisi out of 25, Jackson Dart, I was wrong, 5 out of 25. Eddie George, Travion Henderson, and Nate McCollum. Just had to tempt the Leaf Gods. Michael Tollefson out of 75, Adnan Mitchell out of 49, Joe Theismann, and Brady Dorman. Looking for Leaf Vivid Baseball that is coming up probably about 15 minutes. A little behind schedule. Richard Dents, 3 of 3. Adnan Mitchell out of 49, Joe Theismann, and Brady Dorman. Off to a good start. Casey Washington out of 49, Adnan Mitchell out of 49, Joe Theismann, and Brady Dorman. Harlan Berry out of 49, Penny Boone out of 199, Ty Felton, and Nate Yarnell. Nate Yarnell out of 99 with somebody's hair attached to it. That's not mine. Keelan Robinson out of 99, Ryan Williams, and Haynes King. Jaden Thomas out of 49, Peyton Thorne out of 99, Jim Hart, and Caleb Johnson. Dual auto for Kyle McCord and Omari Hatcher. 7 of 7. Bet you there's another one in here. Jackson Arnold out of 199. Doug Flutie and Max Broser. Quentin Cooley out of 49. Lynn Dickey out of 199. Travis Hunter and Xavier Thomas. Andre Anthony out of 75. Steve Grogan, Trevon Diggs, and Zach Zabrowski. C.J. Donaldson Jr. out of 99, Max Brosmer out of 99, Evan Bethea, and Andrel Anthony. Braden Nicolosi out of 15, Peyton Houston out of 199, Bo Jackson, and Devin Neal. Dante Hall, 3 of 10, Jaden Blue out of 49, Aeneas Williams, and Xavier Legette. Trey Taylor out of 75. Lynn Dickey out of 199. Travis Hunter and Xavier Thomas. Jaden Richardson, high marks out of 25. Rocket Ismail, Trey Harris, and Jalen McMillan. Benjamin Hall out of 49. Max Brosmer out of 99. Alvin Bethea and Andrel Anthony. Alan Bowman out of 49. Peyton Houston out of 199. Bo Jackson and Devin Neal. Thomas Castellanos out of 15. Tony Baselli out of 99. Alvin Bethea and Jackson Arnold. Brendan Sullivan out of 10. Jaden Blue, Eddie George, and Zion Turner. Blue is out of 199. Cody Epps out of 75. Michael Irvin out of 49. Ted Tyrone McMillan and Lawrence Arnold. Luke Altmaier out of 75. Michael Irving out of 49. Ted Tyrone McMillan and Lawrence Arnold. Justice Ross Simmons out of 99. Caden Robinson out of 199. Travis Hunter and Malik Benson. Cam Davis out of 99. Keelan Robinson out of 99. Roydell Williams and Nate Frazier. Curtis Rourke out of 99. Luke McCaffrey out of 199. Tony Baselli and Hoss Haney. Will Pauling out of 15. Brock Purdy out of 199. Josh Allen and Blake Corum. Will Kakamarek out of 99. Daquan Felton out of 99. TJ Finley and Antoine Hill Jr. Cameron Skedaboo out of 75. Auto. Luke McCaffrey out of 199. 22 set. And Hoss Haney. Brock Vandegrift out of 25. Daquan Felton out of 99. Tim Brown and Antoine Hill Jr. Zach Zabrowski out of 75. Michael Vick out of 199. Dominic Levitt and Hines Ward. Deuce Knight. Duran Bradley, 1 of 5. LaDainian Tomlinson out of 99. Travis Hunter and Malik Benson. Said you're looking for some LT. Got some LT. Cameron Edge out of 25. Brock Purdy out of 199. Josh Allen and Blake Corum. Box number 18. Roman Wilson out of 75. Daquan Felton out of 99. TJ Finley and Andre Green Jr. Trayvon Diggs, 2 of 2. Daquan Felton out of 199. TJ Finley and Antoine Hill Jr. Taquan Roberson out of 99. Michael Vick out of 199. Dominic Levitt and Hines Ward and Deuce Knight. Trey Taylor out of 75. Michael Vick out of 199. Dominic Levitt and Hines Ward. Deuce Knight. Lake McCree out of 25. Nico Iamaleava out of 199. Troy Polamalu and Miller Moss. Taz Johnson, 7 of 8. Kendrick Law out of 49. Larry Little and Keelan Robinson. Dick Vermeil, 8 of 10. Cameron Edge out of 49. Emmett Smith and Jace McClellan. Amari Knee Black out of 15. Peyton Thorne out of 99. Dominic Levitt and Hines Ward and Hoss Haney. Antonio Antonio Williams, 3 of 3. Auto. Jonah Coleman out of 99. Barry Sanders and DeMont Williams Jr. Trey Taylor out of 25. Sterling Sharp out of 99. Marshall Faulk and Deuce Knight. Dual auto for Cameron Ward and Damian Martinez. 9 of 10. Nice. Keelan Robinson out of 199. Terrell Davis and Audric Estime and Kyron Jones. Y.A. Tittle, 7 of 10. Warren Sapp out of 49. Archie Manning and Jalen McMillan. Victor Rosa out of 49. Jeremiah Hunter out of 199. Aeneas Williams and Cameron Skedabu. Miles Price out of 49. Sterling Sharp out of 49. Marshall Faulk and Devin Lacey. Or Devin Leary, excuse me. Sam Franklin out of 75. Jeremiah Hunter out of 199. Aeneas Williams and Cameron Skedabu. Jordan Faison, 2 of 3. Penny Boone out of 199. Terrell Davis and Kyron Jones. Ricky Jackson out of 25. Terry Bradshaw out of 199. Archie Griffin and Isaiah Bond. Walker Lyons out of 99. Ozzie Newsome out of 49. Irving Fryer and Luke McCaffrey and Zach Zabrowski. Aaron Noland, high marks out of 10. Cameron Edge out of 49. Lynn Dickey and Jace McClellan. Woody Marks out of 75. Ozzie Newsome out of 49. Luke McCaffrey and Irving Fryer. Hoss Haney. Cameron Ward, 14 out of 25. Auto, Penny Boone, 5 of 5. Terrell Davis and Kyron Jones. Xavier Weaver out of 25. Jeremiah Hunter out of 199. Barry Sanders and Cameron Skedabu. Penny Boone out of 20. Sterling Sharp out of 99. Marshall Faulk and Devin Leary. Stephen McBride, 9 of 10. Terry Bradshaw out of 199. Archie Griffin and Jalen McMillan. Box number 22. Out of this, we'll do a hit recap, then take care of the multis. Then we are on to Leaf of the Baseball. Joseph Griffin Jr. out of 99. Randy Moss out of 199. Thurman Thomas and Jalen Wright. Jaden McGowan out of 99. Peyton Houston out of 199. Johnny Manziel and Ethan Garbers. RJ Harvey out of 99. Jaquez Petaway out of 199. Eddie George and Jonah Coleman. Trey Harris out of 99. Keelan Robinson out of 199. Audric Estime and Terrell Davis and Kyron Jones. Darebe Still, 3 of 10. Trayvon Diggs out of 99. Jeremiah Love and Jerome Bettis. Achilles Smith Jr. Jim Hart out of 25. Terry Bradshaw out of 199. Andre Reed and DJ Giddens. What's all with all the duplicates? That's why we're doing it as 2 cases. Their collation for this was absolutely horrific. So doing 1 case is kind of bad. Doing 2 cases, at least there's a better chance that people actually, you know, get hit. And hit a lot. Daquan Felton out of 199. Cameron Edge out of 49. Emmett Smith and Jace McClellan. Chuba Purdy out of 99. Ozzie Newsome out of 49. Dominic Lovett and Hines Ward. Hoss Haney. Alan Bowman out of 99. Jonah Coleman out of 99. Barry Sanders and DeMond Williams. Jordan Faison out of 99. Keelan Robinson out of 199. Autographs May and Terrell Davis and Kyron Drones. Talik Williams out of 75. Sterling Sharp out of 99. Marshall Faulk and Devin Leary. CJ Daniels out of 49. Jeremiah Hunter out of 199. Barry Sanders and DeMond Williams. Final box of the break. Box number 24. James Winter Jr. out of 99. Cameron Edge out of 49. Emmitt Smith and Jeremiah Love. Trayvon Diggs, 5 of 5. Peyton Thorne out of 99. Roman Wilson and Hines Ward. Haas Haney. Jaden Williams out of 75. Jonah Coleman out of 199. Bo Jackson and Deion Burks. Amari Black, 5 of 5. Sterling Sharp out of 99. Marshall Faulk and DJ Lagway. First time saying that name. Braden Dorman out of 75. Warren Sapp out of 49. Barry Sanders and Jadarian Price. And final pack of the break. Achilles Smith Jr. 4 of 8. LaDainian Tomlinson out of 199. Phil Maffa and Harlan Berry. And that will do it, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being part of the break as always. Really do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get a hit recap going here, and then we'll take care of all the multis. We've got a lot of names to sort through real quick. Unfortunately, we had the wrong J name in that final box for you. Maybe he's lurking in futures. All right, for the hits. Malik Washington, Caleb Burton, Ollie Gordon, Haj Malik Williams, Malik Rutherford, Damian Martinez, Tony Dorsett, Paul Krause, Fran Tarkenton, Matthew Golden, Kieran Lacey, Casey Washington, Lynn Dickey, AJ Swan, Roger Staubach, Tyler Cherry, Max Brosmer, Demir Blankumsey, Demond Williams, Cameron Selden, Jeremiah Liv, Alan Bowen, Matthew Slocum, Ty Felton, Roger Staubach, Bear Bachmeyer, Marshall Falk, Chubba Purdy, Peyton Houston, Isaiah Nair, Jack Plummer, Jackson Arnold, Miles Price, Michael Irvin, Jared Brown, Peyton Houston, Jared Gibson, and Peyton Houston. Jordan Travis, Peyton Houston, Dan Villari, Archie Manning, Madden Iamaliva, Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, Malik Rutherford, Penny Boone, Andrew Armstrong, Malik Rutherford, Bear Bachmeyer, Malik Rutherford, Antonio Williams, Archie Manning, Marcus Carroll, and Keelan Robinson. Walker White, Caleb Jackson, Jamari Thrash, Michael Vick, Sam Levitt, Jackson Arnold, Jermaine Brown Jr., Roger Staubach, DJ Giddens, Peyton Houston, Max Brosmer, Isaiah Nair, Colin Lacey, Matthew Sluka, Rashad Owens, Roger Staubach, Damari Alston, Roger Staubach, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Jackson Arnold, Carter Bradley, Peyton Houston, Jim Everett, Jackson Arnold, Isaac Urendell, Peyton Houston, G-Mac, Adonai Mitchell, Andrew Anthony, Malik Washington, CJ Donaldson Jr., Ollie Gordon, Jaden Bradford, Malik Rutherford, Rodney Hill, and Fran Tarkenton. Kyle Williams, Lynn Dickey, Siobhan Cordiero, Roger Staubach, Romello Brenson, Marshall Falk, Dylan Sampson, Drew Pearson, Jarian Dickey, Achilles Smith Jr., Christopher Vizina, Jeremiah Liv, Amani Bailey, Peyton Houston, and Daquan Felton. Quentin Cooley, Lynn Dickey, Andre Anthony, C.J. Donaldson Jr., Max Brosmer, Braden Nicolosi, Peyton Houston, Dante Hall, Jaden Blue, Trey Taylor, Lynn Dickey, Jaden Richardson, Benjamin Hall, Max Brosmer, Alan Bowman, Peyton Houston, Thomas Castellanos, Tony Baselli, Brandon Sullivan, Jaden Blue, Cody Epps, Michael Irvin, Luke Altmaier, Michael Irvin, Justice Ross Simmons, Caden Robinson, Cam Davis, and Keelan Robinson. Curtis Rourke, Luke McCaffrey, Will Pauling, Brock Purdy, Will Merrick, Daquan Felton, Cameron Skadaboo, Luke McCaffrey, Brock Vandegrift, Daquan Felton, Zach Zabrowski, Michael Vick, Duran Bradley, LT, Cameron Edge, Brock Purdy, Roman Wilson, Daquan Felton, Trayvon Diggs, Daquan Felton, Taquan Roberson, Michael Vick, Trey Taylor, Michael Vick, Lake McCree, Nico, Des Johnson, and Kendrick Law. Brady Nicolosi, Roderick Robinson, Devin Leary, Roderick Robinson, Caleb Johnson, Garrett Nussmeier, Deshaun Fenwick, Roderick Robinson, Andrew Armstrong, Warren Sapp, Ashton Daniels, Warren Sapp, Wilcox Merrick, Bryce Kurtz, Lenore Sellers, Joe Montana, Zach Zabrowski, Jalen Lane, Terry Bradshaw, Joseph Griffin, Terry Bradshaw, Cyrus Allen, Elijah Badger, AJ Swan, Elijah Badger, Cam Miller, Devin Neal, C.J. Donaldson Jr., Devin Neal, Jaden Wilson, Randy White, Ryan Puglisi, Jackson Dart, Michael Tollefson, Adonai Mitchell, Richard Dent, Adonai Mitchell, Casey Washington, Adonai Mitchell, Harlan Berry, Penny Boone, Nate Yarnell, Keelan Robinson, Jaden Thomas, Peyton Thorne, and Jackson Arnold. Dick Vermeil, Cameron Edge, Amari Black, Peyton Thorne, Antonio Williams, Jonah Coleman, Trey Taylor, Sterling Sharp, Keelan Robinson, Y.A. Tittle, Warren Sapp, Victor Rosa, Jeremiah Hunter, Miles Price, Sterling Sharp, Sam Franklin, Jeremiah Hunter, Jordan Faison, Penny Boone, Ricky Jackson, Terry Bradshaw, Walker Lyons, Ozzie Newsome, Aaron Nolan, Cameron Edge, Woody Marks, Ozzie Newsome, Cameron Ward, Penny Boone. Xavier Weaver, Jeremiah Hunter, Penny Boone, Sterling Sharp, Stephen McBride, Terry Bradshaw, Joseph Griffin, Randy Mouse, Jaden McGowan, Peyton Houston, RJ Harvey, Jaquez Petaway, Trey Harris, Keelan Robinson, Tareem Still, Trayvon Diggs, Jim Hart, Terry Bradshaw, Taquan Felton, Cameron Edge, Chubba Purdy, Ozzie Newsome, Alan Bowman, Jonah Coleman, Jordan Faison, Keelan Robinson, Talik Williams, Sterling Sharp, C.D. Daniels, and Jeremiah Hunter. James Georgia Jr., Cameron Edge, Trayvon Diggs, Peyton Thorne, Jaden Wilson, Jonah Coleman, Amari D. Black, Sterling Sharp, Braden Dorman, Warren Sapp, Achilles Smith Jr., and LaDainian Tomlinson. And for the multis, well, we can go ahead and split those two. Terrell Davis gets one, Audric Esme gets one. Let's see what else we got. All right. So for these guys, Thurman Thomas, Ray Davis, Barry Sanders, Ollie Gordon, Jerome Bettis, Jeremiah Love, Joe Burrow, Garrett Nussmeyer, and Brock Purdy and Chubba Purdy. These will be going to random.org. As will Eddie George and Travion Henderson out of 49. Cam Ward and Damian Martinez out of 10. And Kyle McCord and Umari Hatcher 7 of 7. All right, those are the ones that are predetermined to be going to the random. Brant Tarkenton and Carson Beck, we can split evenly. As well as Eddie George and Travion Henderson. Marshall Falk and Blake Corum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 3 and 3 for Hines Ward and Dominic Lovett. 1, 2, 3. So we've got Archie Griffin and Quinshon Judkins. Irving Fryer and Luke McCaffrey. Split evenly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 3 and 3 for Audric Esme and Terrell Davis. And to go along with those, we have Archie Griffin, Quinshon Judkins, Hines Ward, Dominic Lovett, Hines Ward, Roman Wilson, Peyton Manning, Nico Iamaliva, and Jonathan Brooks and Earl Campbell, all going to the random. All right, this will take a few seconds to get set up. We'll be back with that momentarily. We'll be on to Leaf Vivid Baseball as soon as we're done with this. For the randoms, what we're going to do is these three will have their own random. Kyle McCord, Umari Hatcher, Cameron Ward, Damian Martinez, Eddie George, and Travion Henderson. Then we'll just have a left and right random for the remainder. So it'll either be going to the hero or the prospect side. So we'll catch you back here in about 60-ish seconds. Take care of this, and then we'll be good to go. All right, we've got random.org pulled up and good to go. Gonna roll some dice. Gonna be through how to be valid for us. We're gonna go 5 times on each random. Starting with Eddie George, Travion Henderson out of 49. That is 4 times. Final roll. Is going to Eddie George. Congratulations, Cal McCord, and then Umari Hatcher. That's 4 times. Final roll. Umari Hatcher coming out on top. Congrats. And Cam Ward, Damian Martinez, dual auto. 4 times. Final roll. Damian Martinez sneaking in and taking it home. Congrats. And finally, for the multi-hero and prospect cards, left and right. That is 4 times. Final roll. And the left shall have it. The heroes: Thurman Thomas, Barry Sanders, Jerome Bettis, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy, Earl Campbell, Peyton Manning, Hines Ward twice, and Archie Griffin. Congratulations. Y'all will be taking home the multiples of the hero/prospect cards. All right, Leaf Vivid Baseball, we are on to you guys here in just a second. We're going to get that set up and good to go.